Okay. Hi, and welcome everybody. Today we're going to talk about the other parts of looking after your voice, looking after yourself. Hi, I'm Marianne from Speak to Engage, and I'm delighted to bring to you my friend and colleague, Marita Rallenbeck, and want to have a chat about looking after the whole you. And why am I interested, you might just say, but you're about speaking. Well, the voice, it's something that I'll often say, we take it so much for granted. And yet we need to feed it, just like we need to feed the mind, change the stories, change the thoughts to reflect the confidence in our voice. And just have a think, if you've got a cold, often whether it's your nose is rather congested, or whether you're finding it difficult breathing, or you've got a sore throat, so often you're going to hear it through your voice, all things like that. So the rest of our body is very much reflected in our voice, whether it's our emotion, whether it's actually physically we're unwell, whether we're feeling just a little bit low that day, it's reflected. So it's really important. I'm very much an advocate of looking after the whole, to keep looking after this voice that we don't want to take for granted. It's our gift. So that's my cue in to introduce you to Marita, who very much helps us look at the whole you. So Marita, over to you really. You're the best person just to give us a bit of an insight of what you help us do and who you mainly help.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
Before I go into me, I want to just say it's so fascinating what I just heard about the voice and what you spoke about. I went to an event over the weekend that was all about voice, and he made a distinction, which I had never thought about, between voice and speech,
Yes,
and message.
mm-hmm.
And that to me was so profound, because when I say voice, you got to find your voice. I'm talking about not the physical voice and not even necessarily the physical speech. I'm talking about the power within in your message.
Yes.
So that was so powerful over the weekend. And then to hear what you had to say, it's so cool.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So what was it you asked me?
Let's hear it for the voice. Yes.
Yeah, it's hugely important. And really, to kind of segue from that, self-care, you address self-care. You didn't call it that, but a holistic approach to self-care addresses all of us. And I really started my newest iteration of what I do. I've been in the holistic field since the 90s. But as you know, energy changes and you change and everything, things change, it all just flows. But I got really tired of me needing or feeling like I needed to compartmentalize myself. Like when I went to this event or when I had a job, oh my God, you had to go into this environment that was completely contrary to who I was. So I went into that. But a lot of us do. A lot of us are doing things to put food on the table that do not align with our highest truth. And I got very weary of that. And so I became an advocate for the voice and taking a stand. And I don't want to leave who I am at the door when I walk into an event, or I don't want to leave the bulk of who I am at the door when I go into my job. And I've become very comfortable with, if there is no resonance between us, then I'm cool. Then we don't need to interact. That might sound harsh, but it's really a way of, and it's not mean, it's not confrontational. It's just like, okay, this relationship, whatever it is, this job, this,
Yes.
Whatever. It's like if you vote with your dollars on what you buy, you vote with your time. Who are you spending your time with? Do they support who you really are? And that, like, we're way off topic, but not, right? I mean, because It's all
All
relevant.
connected.
It's all connected. And when we begin to see that web of the connection, then what I feel happens is, I call it what's next. What's next for you
Yeah.
is what you address.
Okay, no, that's beautiful. So really you've sort of, you were in a, I don't know, a day job, so to speak, and found that it wasn't really aligned to who you were. You were doing it to metaphorically put the food on the table, but
Yes. Yes.
leaving yourself at the office door or the door. And that's something that can happen so easily to all of us. Even when we start our own business, we can lose sight of our objectives. So it's a really important message, actually, guys. I really love what Marita says. It's really important to align yourself with who you are, the message you want to get out there, and make sure it stands true to what you stand for. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
And I think the more comfortable we get doing that, it shows in our beingness, in our countenance. It shows in how we animate. I love that word, animate. You know, how we show up in the world, how we interact with people, because we're authentic. We're putting on the coat of authenticity. We practice it. And the more we practice it, the more comfortable it becomes.
So true. And, you know, we have an inner sense, don't we? I mean, none of us can analyze the speech, but we do know we've got centuries of training. We sense when people are actually just really being themselves. And that's very charismatic, magnetic, in itself.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Beautiful.
And it's compelling. Then when you feel that with someone, then it's like, I want to know you.
Yes.
Right? It's just, and that's how we attract our tribe, is just by being like that magnet, right? Become a magnet for people who need or want, what we offer. It's easy.
Yeah.
It becomes easy.
So that's how you transition from the day job, which I'm taking was very different, to what you do now, which is helping people in the sort of looking after themselves, the self-care part of it.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, that's really interesting. Now, what I'd like to ask you, I know you've got a challenge coming up, meaningful morning routines, and I asked a few people every now and then. I ask, what are your morning routines? Because I know I find that if I don't start my day on a certain footing, nothing really seems to follow. So tell us a bit about your challenge.
Well, I really looked at what could I offer people that is what I call burst learning, or little bites. Because when, I deal a lot with habits and lifestyle. And I really believe that when you ask someone to make all these changes, it becomes so overwhelming.
Yes.
They don't do anything, right? It's like walking into a theater and it's empty and you get to sit anywhere and you're like, I don't know where to sit. Or, it's that, I don't know what to do. So then you just don't do it. And so I created this Meaningful Mornings challenge to take people through. It's 5 days. So it's 5 things. And it doesn't mean that all 5 things will translate into someone's lifestyle on day 6. But it gives them a taste. Oh, like it might broaden their perspective. I might deliver something that they hadn't considered, that they just love the idea and it resonates with them. For instance, a lot of people, when you say meditation, the first thing that tends to come to mind is that lotus position with the funny mudras, and no. That's not, I can't. Put me on a beach to walk an hour. Yeah. I can do a walking meditation. Right?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't have to look a certain way in order for it to be effective.
That's so true. it's better to get it done and adapt it to your lifestyle than
Yes.
feel I've got to get this perfect meditation, which I know for years used to bother me, you know, this word meditation. And then I found there were little ways to get into it that were meditation. But I'm sure I felt subject to, oh, meditation is clear all your thoughts, sit there, have nothing on your mind. And it started, the more you make it have more and more meaning,
Yeah.
and the more perfection you add, the more you're a bit put off doing it.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you're saying really you're going to give us some bite-sized pieces, and that's good, because I have been in challenges where I get a bit overwhelmed and you think, oh, I'll come back to that later. But the ones that I really benefit from is that I feel that actually, yes, I can do this, and I can do this today. Then I get this great sense of satisfaction.
Right.
And if I can take one good thing away from a challenge, then it's really helped me with my life. So I love the idea of the bite-sized pieces. Definitely love that.
Yeah. Because I want people to experience, well, go try this or go play with that idea and then tell us about it, you know, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Because only by acting upon it, like I can't remember if that was a Brendan Burchard thing or not, but about I can tell you all day. No, I think it's Kyle Cease. I can tell you all day long about how an elliptical machine works, but if you don't ever actually get on it, who cares?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can do all these things, but if you don't actually use it, it doesn't do anything. It just sits there and becomes a clothes rack. Right?
Yes. And if so, in the back of the mind just becomes a burden, doesn't it? Oh, I know I could have, but I didn't.
Exactly.
Brilliant. So that sounds pretty exciting. And I think for me, a meaningful morning is something that I'm really after. I'll be joining up with the challenge as well.
Yay.
I always
Lovely.
want, I always want some inspiration, really, just because it's very easy to have a routine in the morning, and then just a few things happen, and it's learning how to get back on track, how to adjust yourself so that you can get back to your routine, rather than saying, that didn't work. So
Right.
yeah.
And that brings up another point, is that the things that I might discuss, they may become a tool for when you are kind of off track, when things kind of go sideways and you're like, oh my God, I'm either going to throw it up for the day or I'm going to actually get myself realigned, and I can use some of these tools.
Perfect.
Just because I'm teaching about mornings doesn't mean you can't use it in the afternoon.
Well, you know, I was wondering actually, because not all of us are morning people, and some people like to have an afternoon or even an evening routine. So what you're saying is it's equally valid.
Absolutely. Except I talk about breaking the fast, the importance of having a good breakfast. And of course, that can be controversial because some people don't believe in breakfast, but I feel it's really important. But it brings in the whole concept of eating well, so which we'll talk about on the last day. But yeah.
That sounds really interesting. I look forward to it. So that starts on Monday the 11th. And before, I've really enjoyed the chat. So we've moved from the voice and the message and speaking to having a bit more of a deep dive into being aligned with yourself. And then we talked about meaningful mornings, to make it meaningful for you rather than making it too big, too onerous. So I'll be in the challenge. Look forward to any of you guys that want to join us. And is there anything, a last message you'd like to leave us with?
I think honestly, just come and play. Just sign up, come and play, try things on, and see how you can make your day flow better. I'd like to just tell a story before we go. Somebody interviewed me a while back and asked me something about, I can't remember what the question was, but it had to do with, like when I had a job, it was like, I have to be at work at 8, so I'll get up at, 7:10. And that's how I did my day. Oh my God. And I just, whatever the question was, the answer was, I don't know. I don't live like that anymore. And literally within a few days, something happened, and I typically don't schedule anything really early in the morning, but I overslept. I was late and my eyes flew open, and I was like, oh my God, this is how people live. You know? And I was on go the entire day. And I thought, I don't like this at all. No, and I was creating this program at the time. So it was completely relevant that I have that experience of
Yes.
that. I mean, that adrenaline was like in my body before my feet were literally on the ground. It was like, oh my God.
Yes, it's
So
true.
if that's how you find yourself, you need to come and play with me.
I think
And
so. I think so. And I can relate to that. I've definitely experienced that.
oh, wow.
Getting up too late, and then it's just one thing after another, and you think, ah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's dinner.
I know.
Dinner time. And you're like, what happened to the day? I don't even know where it went.
That's a beautiful story. How to help. It's a nice human stories to help all of us relate to, and I'm sure most of us can relate to that. So thanks so much, Marita. I look forward to being in your challenge. Look forward to playing, and any of you guys that want to join us, hope you will. I'll be popping the link in the description. Thanks very much, guys, for joining us. Bye for now.
Bye.